Hello angels. I'm not using the webcam right now, so the video quality on this might be poor, but then again, these videos are meant to be played in the background while you're doing whatever you may need to do. So I wanted to talk about a recent event that has happened that has took the internet by storm, and that is the death of the lead singer of Linkin Park. I was in the kitchen yesterday doing the dishes and listening to the radio, and the announcer was like, "Oh, breaking news! He was found, dead." And I kind of sat there with this plate in my hand for a minute, kind of letting it sink in. And then I dropped the plate in the sink. It didn't break, but I dropped the plate in the sink and ran in my room to get on my laptop to see if it was a fake news. I know people hate the term fake news, but I was like, maybe they I don't know. My brain was just running through all these different things. Like, maybe it's not really him. Maybe he's not, maybe he's in the hospital and they misheard the news. Or maybe, somebody spreading lies and they believed it. I don't know. But my brain was all over the place. And I woke up today. The internet is still blowing up with it. It was in my Bing news feed and everything. I'm like, this makes it real. This is legitimate. This is something that has happened, and it's not a hoax, I remember listening to Linkin Park. My uncle used to listen to them when I was really little, and I listened to them all through middle school and high school. I think a lot of people can say the same thing, that Linkin Park was kind of the background music. I don't know the word. My brain's still trying to grasp at words. The soundtrack. There we go. The soundtrack to our angsty teen years. Very much true for my middle school years. I have yet to do a video for you guys to talk about my middle school and high school. But I dealt with self-harm for a really, really early age. And I remember Linkin Park was definitely... They had all these songs that were, I can't put my feelings in the words, but you can. And that's why we all loved, the songs so much. My friend posted a particular song yesterday. One More Light by Linkin Park. And I was reading the lyrics, and it really kind of hit me. This was released this year. Should have stayed. Were there signs I ignored? Can I help you not to hurt anymore? We saw brilliance when the world was asleep. There were things that we can have but can't keep. If they say, who cares if one more light goes out? If the sky of a million stars, it flickers, it flickers. I got those lyrics wrong. I know someone's gonna be like, actually, it's just it flickers, flickers, but just bear with me here. Lyrics, very meaningful. Who cares when someone's time runs out? If a moment is all we have, we're quicker, quicker. Who cares if one more light goes out? Well, I do. There were so many songs, even in the past, that that they had written, I'm still trying to wrap my mind around it. Sorry, guys. I've tried to stay away from the internet, all of my favorite websites have just been flooded with song lyrics and memorial videos and people finding out and being absolutely devastated and it really hitting them as much as it hit me. And I know my friends were making fun of me yesterday because I was actually crying about it. I know how silly that might sound because you didn't know him in real life. Why are you crying about it? It's just some musician that you listen to. But that's, I think suicide has always touched me emotionally because I have been suicidal, all through middle school and high school. I still, I'm not going to say I did, my depression and my demons are still with me every day. I still face them every day. I still struggle with self-harm. And I still listen to Linkin Park as that way of, like, being not so alone in it, you know? Reading the lyrics to his older songs and the newer ones, it really hits you. Like, this is something that he was struggling with. That's why he touched so many people with lyrics, because we have all felt in that way, whether it be alone or depressed or pissed off at the world. The lyrics hit us emotionally, and reading them now and knowing what has happened to him, it really hits me, because it's like he was still struggling in the same way that I do, you know, and the same way that a lot of us struggle. I know a lot of times when people pass away, like when Robin Williams passed away, everyone was like, we'll use this to talk about suicide, we'll use this to talk about mental illness and depression, but we don't. You know, we don't talk about it enough. We talk about it for the moment, and then we brush it underneath the carpet and kind of forget about it until the next person takes their life, and then we go, oh, hey, yeah, this is still an issue we kind of need to talk about for, like, another 15 minutes. And I hate to put it that way, but it's true, you know? I've seen it happen with a lot of people. If you've seen my videos on this channel, you know, it's not something that I talk about for 15 minutes, and then, okay, well, no more. You know, I make countless videos. I run a suicide awareness page that I've ran since middle school. You know, suicide is something that is very close and personal to me, because I was really struggling when I was 12, 13, 14 years old. And I know those numbers are very odd to some people. You know, a lot of people are like, what, 12-year-olds can be suicidal? 12-year-olds can self-harm? If you look at the statistics nowadays, yes, I would pull them up and show you. The statistics of self-harm and suicide rates are growing among younger children in middle school. And just, I don't know, I can't wrap my mind around it. Just like every time I hear one of his songs, you know, I was sitting there listening to some of the songs that helped me get through my darker times when I felt like I was alone. It reminds me, you know, that he was struggling, you know, and that I was struggling, and there's so many other people that were struggling and are still struggling. And it's just, I know you're not going to take anything from this video. I just kind of wanted to talk and be like, these are my thoughts on it. In no particular reason. I just feel like putting a video out to be like, let's talk about it, you know? Just, I don't know. I don't think I had that moment in the kitchen where I heard the news, and it was very similar to how I found out when Daniel passed away. You have that disbelief that that's not true. What did I hear? No, that is no, you know. And I'll probably do a video in the future about the stages of grief, you know. They work for pretty much any situation. Divorce, death, I don't really know any other thing that's really, really emotionally tragic. But the stages of grief apply to great loss. And I'm very peculiar when I go through them, because I have this way of trying to accept things immediately. My brain goes into this state of denial where it's like, okay, yeah, they're gone, whatever. Not so much that I go numb to it and I'm like, okay, I don't really care. But my brain just says, yeah, they're dead. Don't be sad. Be sad, but don't express it. Don't be sad. Be okay. It's okay. And then I get really angry about it. And then I try to accept it. Like, okay, I got mad about it. Nothing happened. And then I get really sad. And then I go back into the denial thing, you know. And I think it's really important that I do a video for you guys about the stages of grief, because they're not textbook, like, this is how you're supposed to feel in this order. I'm an example of that, because I do go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, get mad, and then bargaining, and then try to accept things, and then back into denial, and then back into depression, and then acceptance, and then sadness again. In a lot of ways, like my depression, I feel like I try to accept the way the world is. Especially nowadays, I struggle Me gaining weight to donate blood has definitely taken its toll on me. I have self-harmed, I don't want to say a lot, but I've slipped up. I've relapsed a few times in the past couple months just by looking in the mirror and seeing my stretch marks, you know, and I get really upset with myself because afterwards I'm like, hey, you're supposed to accept yourself. You're doing the right thing. You should accept your body. There are times when I wake up and I'm like, I am beautiful. I love my body. I don't care what anyone says. You know, the world's a crappy place sometimes, but it's not always crappy. You know, you have that mentality for a little bit of, oh, it's okay, you know, let it all brush off your back. But then you have days when you wake up and you're like, everything hits you. I look at myself and I'm like, I am ugly. Why do I have this amazing fiance? And my friends, why do they like me, you know? I just want you guys to know that you don't have to be happy all the time, but it's not going to be the end of the world when you suffer from depression. It's not always going to be dark times. You'll have your sun, but you can't have the sunshine without the darkness, you know? You have to have the bad times to appreciate the good times, but I want you guys to know that, you know, the bad times can last days or weeks or months or even years, but there's always going to be some goodness in the bad, you know. There's always a rainbow at, you know, when it stops raining, there's always a rainbow. Sometimes you just have to look for it, and you have to appreciate it, whether you have it for a brief moment or for a long time. And with me, I do these videos, and everyone's like, oh, you struggled and you're better. I want you guys to know that no, I'm not better, you know. I think that's something that we need to take from this. That 15 minutes that we talk about mental illness and everything that goes with it, once those 15 minutes are up, that doesn't mean that those things don't exist anymore. I think that we all need to keep it not so much in the back of our mind, but it needs to be there where we realize it's there and it needs to be talked about. And people get mad at me when I talk about suicide and depression and stuff when I make these videos. They ask me why I have my suicide awareness page and why I work so hard to make strangers happy and save lives. And I tell them, you know, to me, everybody is important. I probably put people higher on my list of importance than I do myself. That's why I cry for complete strangers when they pass away, and others just have a brief moment of, that's sad. Like, I was so upset when Daniel passed away. I didn't do any schoolwork for almost 2 months, you know, and it might have seemed silly, but to me it was a personal loss. I saw myself in his loss. I see a lot of myself in losing Chester, you know, because I've been there. I've struggled with that, and reading his lyrics really hit me like, hey, why didn't we see the signs? You know, he could have been saved. And it reminds me that there are people out there who see themselves in his lyrics that can be saved and need to be saved. And I'm sorry I'm going on a rambling, but I want you guys to know that I do love you very much. I know that sounds super cliche. You hear stuff like that and you're like, oh yeah, whatever, I'm just a viewer. I'm just some random person that clicked on your video and sat through your rambling. You don't know me, you don't care about me, but I do. Because if you aren't going to love yourself, then you need somebody who does. I find it extremely hard to love myself. It's a lot easier for me to care about a complete stranger. You know, I care more about you than I care about the person I see in the mirror. You know, I won't say that I love myself. I won't say that I hate myself. I'm okay with myself, and I'm still dealing with my struggle and my battle, and I want to help you with yours, you know. So I don't know what you could take from the video. I just wanted you guys to know, I don't know, whatever you take from it, it's not right or wrong. It's just a video I wanted to put out and be like, hey, these are my thoughts. It might be redundant, it might be whatever. If you sat through it, I'm hoping you found some meaning in it. If not, I'm sorry for wasting your time. I do love you guys, and please do not hesitate to reach out to me You can leave me a comment below. There's resources in the description to my suicide awareness page, and if you need a friend, you can message me there and add me. I'm always there to listen. There's a lot of times I have people who I found on 7 Cups of Tea who've reached out to me, or on my suicide awareness page, or just anywhere online that I offer my support, and they're like, I need a friend, not just somebody to talk to for 10 minutes, and I end up adding them, and a few of them I've been friends with for quite a few years now, and that's really, really awesome. So if you guys need a friend or somebody to genuinely listen to you, don't feel like you're a burden, or that you have to face whatever you're dealing with alone, because there's always someone there to listen to you, and not just be like, oh, it's human nature to pretend like I care and listen. Like, I genuinely care for you guys, and want to help you with whatever you're going through, because we all have our demons, and I feel like I've dealt with mine by myself for so many years. I don't want anybody else to feel like they need to deal with theirs by themselves. So, link to my suicide awareness page will be in the description below. You can click on it and message me and be like, hey, can I add you on Facebook? I need a friend. We can hang out on Skype and talk about life. We can play games together. You can just rant about the world sucking or being awesome or whatever you want to talk about. And remember that I do love you, truly, honestly. I love every single one of you because you're here watching this video for a reason. Sorry it's a little rambly. And I'll see you guys in the next video.